on. We are live.
Ready?
I'm ready if you are.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our April 16th, 2024 Morgan County Plan Commission meeting. The chair recognizes a quorum. Can all please stand with the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Everyone has this look at the last meeting. Any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Questions on page 3, notes and understanding by the minutes of Mr. Larson, that they consider some covenant restrictions on Allison Thompson's pending to county protest. I will do a little. I will put that motion on there.
Now, where are they located?
That's very good.
At the very end?
I read that in my opinion, that Mr. Larson to be before the attorney would come.
So, we'll add that to the minutes. Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? No, I'll offer a motion. Corrections. Mr. Rumble moves approval with corrections. Do we have a second? Mr. Patrick seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes with corrections. Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda? For a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. We move on to old business. Public hearing for line plat NIP 2403 is continued from March 11th. All engineering on behalf of Terry Johnson and Grant Electric. Requesting a 6-lot line plat. The 38-acre parcel located on the northeast corner of Watson Road and Kitchen Road, Madison Township, result tag. Mr. Wilson, state your name and your address.
Thank you. John Larson, Quality Engineering.
I'll just turn it on.
I'm sorry.
I'm John Larson, Quality Engineering, located at 100 Professional Court in Wardsville, Indiana. And we're here tonight seeking approval of lots and trails. This is a 40-acre, 6-lot minor plat. Owners Randall Atkins and Terry Johnson. Obviously, we've been here on multiple attempts before you. The first time seeking major subdivision rezone. Tonight we're seeking approval for a 6-lot minor plat, lots 1 through 5, 3 acres in size. Lot 6 is a renewable lot, it's actually 21.6 acres in size. And we've kind of hashed this property around thoroughly over the last couple of years. I would just add that at the last planning commission meeting, Hale asked us to address some of the owners' concerns. We heard their concerns about obviously drainage, style, and quality, and size of the homes that will be built. Also, the residential home nature. We also heard concerns that 3 acres not being divided. They would then impact as 3 acres. So with that in mind, I will read through the covenants that we had just glad to be out in the country where it isn't that being covered restrictions in the neighborhood. Now, we've gone out of our way to add something. We will do that for the neighborhood, even though many of their subdivisions, their city property do not have those same protections for us and for our property. However, as we go through the dedication covenants that we have, lot 2 and 4 residential use only, no commercial uses shall be allowed except for the continued farming of parcels which shall be allowed. There shall be no further division of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 herein. No mobile or modular home shall be built or placed in any person. Residential homes shall be still built in place. However, the study shall not be construed to prohibit prefabricated trusses or wall sections or any other similar prefabricated sections of still-built homes. Single-story houses shall contain a minimum of 1,400 square feet of living space, exclusive of porches, garages, and basements. Two-story houses shall contain a minimum of 1,200 square feet of living space on the first floor, exclusive of porches, garages, and basements. No dwellings shall exceed 2 stories in height. And finally, any pole structure that is built for the purpose of serving as a residence shall include, at a minimum, a 36-inch brick or stone skirt wall in front elevation from the structure, and that is a side facing the street. This covenant, however, shall not include any structure that is built as a secondary structure on any lot. In other words, if a home is not built over in addition to a residence, that covenant is not required for that whole structure. With those, I feel like we addressed concerns of tiny homes. We did address what several of the crowd feared, like maybe a pole barn with no dressing, no left to make it appear residential. And there are a few of those, there are several of those that I've seen in Morgan County lately. There are a couple of them right across the street in my plat that we did require restrictions. But again, we will commit to these covenants and restrictions to appease the government's concerns. We can answer any questions you
So here.
Your easements along in drainage, the ordinance that they lost, Massachusetts law.
At 20 feet wide, I believe that they are. He shot the center one in, I believe, at 10 feet. I believe that they would. I would be glad to look at it.
I just curious. I assume they lost it.
I point out to you that at present, those grassy swales have no protection whatsoever. They're not regulations, they're not even dedicated as easements. This plat will guarantee that they are.
And those are put in private owners or owner.
The grassy swales have been in place for quite a while. I know that.
Yeah, they've been there a long time. Any other questions for Mr. Larson? Okay, address your
Absolutely, thank you, Bob.
The test reports remain unchanged from the ones that was reviewed last month. Board of Health indicated that they have no objections to the first line class. There were some concerns about soils on that property, but it is, although it's not my lane to speak to, I did talk to Bobby this morning again, and he confirmed that there's almost innumerable ways to get septics on soils, and soils that are depicted in the handouts are found throughout Madison County. Let's see, here we have the county surveyor's report, which Mr. Brock provided. He did have a couple of corrections, and those were made last month before that meeting. And then the county engineer had no additional comments. We spoke this morning regarding driveway on Lawson Road and what else increased by the petitioner, since we determined that it is a collector. So kitchen and Lawson will both have a 37.5 foot driveway.
Is that bad?
On the flat. Yes, that's that. And then, going back to my staff report. I will read it to you because it's unchanged from the last one. The only thing I did add for you, in addition to recommending in favor of the minor plat, was to include for you a couple of handouts of the county's future land use plan, which identifies this area for residential development. And then also a copy of the intensity zones provided for the county comp plan that identifies these are areas where I want to see residential growth and development. And the density should be in these areas so that we can preserve other areas of the county for rural and agricultural activity. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
This is. All right, we will move on to opposition. We will give you 3 minutes to talk. We ask that you don't repeat what Liz said prior. We've got a lot of people that want to talk, and we have to make sure everyone has a chance. So, that's how you do time, you're getting close, cut it off with your hand, and you can start repeating when I should sat down. Just so we can just, so, Pamela Rossi. We ask that you state your name and address.
My name is Ken Roberts, and I'm located at 679 Washington. And before you have a packet, I've already submitted as a document that will give you background and references to anything that you might have time to speak about in the next 3 minutes. I just want to highlight on a few very, very key important things. Your gold standard is a new as this commission are to help protecting public health and safety and the general welfare of our community. And I thank you for working to do that. Health and safety was a key issue that many people gave testimony on. And what has been is in 2022 when the UDL was adopted, there are things that have occurred since that time. And I ask that at a very minimum, for you to help support the farming community, that the commission issue a finding of fact, state that there is no risk to human health by permitting the development of residential properties on the boundary line of agricultural operations. This is very important. You can do help all this community. Because as you well know, it's in commercials, Roundup, all the lawsuits, they're saying now there's potential residual effects of Roundup. Yet we don't know how immediately, and there's no cancers and problems affecting the children. When the UDL adopted policy to allow residential tax under the boundary of agricultural property, this was not on the table at that time. And I would hope that the very minimum that we develop is that you are being possibly from the due or commission to survey or a study to identify the allowance of these close lots. Honestly, so when you permit, when you even adopt this mind plan, you are putting your seal of approval that there is no risk, that residents may be subject to being in that close proximity to an agricultural operation. So if you issue a finding of facts that I have suggested, that would help the farmer. But if you do not issue a finding of fact, if you cannot say definitively that there is no risk, no health factors that we have to be concerned about. When you put a residential house right next to the farming operation that is spray, then you are required by the comprehensive plan and the DL and your policy to make sure that you are safety. I ask you to take time to review the entire packet that I issued. I did provide you with specifications so that
No, that was it. That's time. That's 3 minutes.
I did provide you with a color document that shows that in our comprehensive plan, that portions of this field is absolutely identified as unusable, not to sustain subjects.
Ma'am, your time is up. We gotta move on to the next people. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much for your time. Please do
Thank you.
this lesson.
Angela Turner.
Internally, 738 North Kitchen Road. My biggest issue is still fire department. My big issue with fire department right now, our fire calls in Kitchen Road is so close. My woods caught on fire the other day and broke up showed up for the water fire department before Madison Township did, which is a little terrifying. We only have 4 full-time firefighters in Madison Township right now, it's a big issue. So that's really the biggest point that I have is just the fire department. It's not good right now. The more pressure we put on fire department, it's just not gonna be good. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordy Smith.
Good evening, I'm Jordan Smith, I'm at 1678 Smoky Lane. I just want to share the same things that get out in the military, lived in Florida my entire life, now I go through good back for this, get away from people with small towns, and, that's one, the decisions that are made from hiring impact the future, with, thousands of acres that are going to come up here to the facility, this is down south. So we really need to set the precedence for, the future one's going to be coming up for, the generations that will follow. Obviously, the fire department is a huge, concern of mine and my families. We already want that, water pressure, generally want to have fire access very close to all where we live at, and then on top of that, we got the fire department that there's no plan in place for future, no one else can have that. Anderson, Brooklyn, all volunteer fire department. So we just kind of have a look after that. So I just want to thank you guys for the time and for what you made up.
Willard, you Messer? You don't want to speak, sir? You don't want to speak? No, Willard?
I've heard of basements, but everything within this is not suitable for basements, it's not suitable for septic. I understand that, they said they did quarter one. But everything on this parcel is not conducive to the building. I mean, I didn't make this up, this came from, it's called PCR or something off of the county clerk's treasurer website. Funny, it's going down, that, those information is going, I have copies where I told about in 2022, of exactly what this wells were. And, you know, I guess I can't say anything to the core samples, or where they took over from, or whatever. But I am gonna go by this, and documents that it was made by. As a resident, I'm glad that they actually kept some covenants, because otherwise it was just a free roll, they didn't need to do anything on that property. I would like to also add that, you know, these are kind of being marketed as mini farms. Maybe the 22 parcel is more so a mini farm, but people are thinking it's agriculture because they went to the minimum 3 acres. I'm down the road, I guess, we have covenants on our property that says we can only have this many large animals, or what types of animals. So I would like to see Pat Ferber clarify on that. I'm still not in favor for this. I'm definitely not in favor for barn dominions. We all have a lot of money invested in our existing homes. I don't want to hold on and work my value down on my house that's for 2-story and 6 acres. And so that's what I want to say.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Most of the things we're going to bring up regarding the state, civil services, water, drainage. Most important reason why it should happen is because you don't collect. When you see people in the room, they've been here a year ago, one of them outside, it's like they're doing how about this. And that's one of the important things you guys understand. So, we're opposed to building room that was, this is the last spot, we don't.
Pass.
Lastly,
Mike Blue, 6559, East Orange Lane, Northwood. We live in the Oregon States. I'm not sure what the OA engineers like my covenant see about that addition. There's covenants there. We had a certain home size, everything we be corrected here. That was followed by everybody. One thing that concerns me, covenants is it's like 1,500 square foot ranch style home. To me, that sounds like a apartment crossing size home, 3 acre lot. That kind of concerns me a little bit, but it is what it is. Also, what's going to happen with lot 6? It's fairly large, and that was discussed about possibly subdividing in the future and making that states and flags out there, so I'm assuming that this is probably already going. They're just gonna do what they do and, ask for forgiveness later. Thanks.
Thank you. Lizzie, what's that? Yes. Down, Bill?
Series of pictures on the one copy of each. Since I only have 3 minutes, we come out for limited time. We had John Gilbert, 6279 East Watson Road. Those pictures were taken in the second 9 hours after a rainstorm. You can see significant damage to drainage systems in the front of the road. That's what we want to discuss. I'm not going to talk about that. Because that's a question because it's used to last week. We told the county wants not hybrids, we want straight roads, high traffic, and comprehensive plan. We said there since the pie in the sky. Comprehensive plan that will reach to the sky, we will not happen. So your cherry picking, all engineers cherry picking, what you want to have comprehensive plan, to help their clients. Who's supposed to believe? You know, we have experts on one side saying do this, we have his experts saying do that, so we're kind of confused. We have soil samples that we can provide that says 7 acres, that's the entire plot, good for a septic. But he's saying the health department saying, good ways to do that. What do we do? We have a covenant for a 1,200 square foot to 1,400 square foot home. I'm standing in the middle of that property with $500,000, $1 million properties. Who enforces that covenant? They're not. The second they're done, they'll wipe their hands up. The Johnson County millionaires, they're not. This council may come out there and enforce those covenants, and someone decides they want to build a wall barn, or they build a wall barn, and they pull an RV up into it with them. So who's going to be responsible for that? Now, the county says they want high density. So when they're in, it's in the smallest waterline possible. But we want to build a bunch of homes out there and overwork that waterline. His answer is work until it fails, force the county to fix it. Who's paying for that? The taxpayers are paying for it. These voting taxpayers are telling you we don't want this. The county wants high density, but they put in a septic system. You have sewer lines? No. Let's overwork the land that's already been worked enough. That your reports tell you cannot handle these septic systems. If you had more time, there's several people that's going to tell you in places that you can engineer and housing conditions in the area that the septics are an issue. But hey, that health department said we can make it work. This is about this is a short time. Oh, manicure laws. That's going to fix the water issue. And that's what we said last time. Drive around the Morgan County. How many manicure laws do you see? If I build a 12 square foot home, you think I'm going to need to manicure law? You want to fix the drainage issue? I'll put 40 acres of alfalfa and pasture and still solve the problem. Manicure laws are not going to do it. They're not going to pay for it. You know, it's an 8 feet problem, you get that road, you get thousands of acres south of this. It's all in flood, literally in the flood. All the way up in Marion Bennett, the worst soils for septics in Warren County, the southeast in Mooresville, in this area. The worst soil, again, tomorrow we go to Holloway Engineering said we need to build housing for college kids. Let college kids spend $160 grand for 3 acres. They're not living in these places. That's just, 3 minutes next to the off. He had only road to 3. At the last vote, only 2 of you spoke up and voted against this. Trust me, it did not go unnoticed when we read the body language of everyone else that stared at the table, refused to speak, refused to vote. You're saying value is better than action. It's clear the voting public who supports the people of county and who apparently supporting the outside entities. Johnson County owners, Johnson County realtors, who hired a local engineer company to push this for his committee. Because when you call the realtors, they tell you, this is just, it's no big deal, it's just a formality. I'm done.
on 7630 North Kitchen Road. Obviously, I'm the youngest one here. I'm a freshman, I'm studying environmental sustainability. So when I first heard about them wanting to build this subdivision near where I live, I was already upset because I was starting to learn about the environmental impacts. So one of the large things, even looking away from just an environmental standpoint, there's also the ethics standpoint. So let's look at the road of Watson and Kitchen. There are people who fly on Kitchen. I know because I've learned to drive on that road. I had somebody come up to me during school while I was learning to drive and get upset at me for not going 70 miles an hour on that road. So you're telling me that you want to invite young families to bring their children on a road where there are people flying past, and I have dealt with accidents that have occurred because of this. There's also an extremely narrow road on Watson, those turns are hard to get through. So I already know that the children that are in the area where I live all have dirt bikes, ATVs, and they're taking around everywhere. And it's already dangerous enough for them to be flying through these roads, but then you're inviting more of that on Watson where there's going to be more incidents. I have a friend who is paralyzed because of a dirt bike accident. They're also starting to look at happiness as a developing factor in the terms of like, how do we evaluate how good a country is, which also includes how well and how livable is becoming. And for this many people to be coming and be in opposition, if you guys were to choose to still approve this, you're going to have a numerous amount of people who are already voicing, we're not okay with this, who are going to be even more upset. Now, looking at an environmental standpoint, there's also the contamination of the water table. So it's it's obvious that it is an agricultural area. We don't fully understand how many emissions come from a single subdivision, but you have to think about the person who they're driving past the road and they throw their plastics out the window. Or they are putting more fertilizer into their soil because they want their garden to grow faster. That will get into our water table, and that does not just affect us, that affects Indiana. Just this weekend, we saw how the flooding affected the White River. We have access to one of the most important aquifers in the entire state, and that feeds into the Mississippi, and that feeds into the entire U.S. So looking even at bioapplication, we're already finding plastics in human blood. So by putting more risk on pollution of our water table, we're risking these small concentrations getting into our crops, our livestock who eat the crops, and us people who are eating both. There's also eutrophication. My farm deals with this. From the farms nearby, we have a little pond that we like, and we're seeing that we have no fish because they're all killed. What about the small family who wants their own little retention pond? Am I going to keep going? Alright. And then the last thing largely is there are increased weather events that's proven with climate change, and we don't know how that's going to affect everything. So bringing more uncertainty into it by bringing in another factor, a new area, is even more dangerous. We don't know how that will change soil capacity, nutrient availability, or any further effects on crop ecosystems.
Elizabeth Hall, would you like to?
And I'm gonna start with, the drainage issues. So I watched the video last time because I was in the leader, and the comment was made, well, when we put these properties, we're gonna have grass, and these developed, grasslands will, yards will be able to drain along, drain. I lived in a house that was built in the 50s. I have a very established yard. I'm still trying to mow. I have ponds and ponds of water in my front yard. I live in this gateway property, less than 2 miles away from what's being built. My daughter just talked about getting car accidents on Kitchen Road. This morning I almost lost my life because I had to drive into the ditch because a truck pulled out. I don't know how he missed me, I drove the truck. So it is a concern. My biggest thing I'm going to teach tonight is a little bit different than everybody else. I am a Woodsville educator.
I teach not just in Morgan County, but I actually teach in Wilkesboro. And I teach at one of the schools that would be impacted significantly from not only this property, but from the great gateway properties that come all the way down. When I tell you that 10 to 20% of my students every single year are going back to the inner city because they're not getting that small town instruction in the classroom, because teachers are already overworked as it is, and there's no tax money, we can't even have the tax money approved to fund the fire department. And when I get on Wilkesboro Community Chat and people complain because, well, I'm not gonna pay extra taxes to send kids to school because I don't have kids in the school system. Why should I have to pay them? At what point do we realize Mooresville doesn't, like, we're at capacity, we're busting. When I have students leave my classroom 10 to 20% to go to an inner city school, that should speak volumes to Morgan County. When I have students in my classroom that do not know what agriculture is because of the overcrowding happening in Mooresville, that should speak volumes. I moved my family with my husband approximately 15 years ago into Mooresville so that they could experience agriculture, farm, the things that are going to sustain the entire world. And we're missing that mark. We're absolutely missing that mark. Teachers right now, I don't know if you guys are not groups of this, but teachers, huge shortage. We are at capacity. When I tell you that probably 30% of my building last year in the last 5 years was left to go to smaller communities because we're done. So it's not just about what's going on around us, or the drainage, or I could go on and on. Think about the kids. Think about what we're teaching them. Think about what we're providing them, or what we're not providing them. Do you want to grow up in a world with white private box houses? Because that's not why I'm used to Mooresville. And I'm pretty sure that if we really want to sustain Mooresville, let's continue to make it a great place to live for people who are already there. Let's rehab the homes that are already there. Let's think about the future. And the kids that are here now, instead of building more private box houses.
Member Stanford? Caitlin Brown?
She heard from a lot of people, so I won't reiterate too many points, but I do want to just express my concern about the water pressure. I'm in a unique position. I actually bought one of the minor process right across from this property on the side of each road. I have one of the 2 acre lots, my husband and I, and our son, and our soon to be son, will be 500 probably within a little nice little home, stick up, and I was delighted that I actually to purchase that property. After growing up on 6 acres on Savage Yard. I think the intent to build some of these 2-3 acre lots is really what allows people like myself to come and live within a half-mile radius. I will have my parents, my grandparents, and another set of grandparents within a half-mile. And as a gift, I can provide my sons because of that. So that's not a concern to me with 3 acres. There are concerns about drainage, and we've already learned that we're going to have to build our house about 3 feet above the ground. So we have to put a filter on our home because of the issues with that area. But what concerns me the most is the infrastructure in this area is not built to sustain and maybe the property down even more. There's no commitment on this further subdivided lot 6. So those concerns to me, there was a commitment that, subdivide lot 6. I don't know who's gonna buy 22 acres without being able, like, it's not designed for farming in the way that it's been parked and pushed, and like the man said, it flooded terribly when this past week with all the water. I think those are the concerns that people are most particularly about the fire department as well. My grandmother, who had a 911 call just a few weeks ago,
was having terrible waiting time. She would have faster than around for one of us to buy that. But I'd like to go on a car driver to the hospital, given how slow the ambulance was. So I know you already heard a lot, but I do want to maintain that it's not about we don't want people in this area. It's about being smart and maintaining the integrity of that area, with these larger areas where we have homes. And still maintain how we do these areas somewhat, but not keep it in an area that we are risky. Thank you.
Feel wrong,
Yes. Good evening. My name is Sheila Bowles. I live off of Newfield Road here in Martinsville, so I'm not around this property. However, I know a realtor who has sold the property on the west side of Kitchen Road. We looked that particular homeowner subdivided that. So my comments are more about clarification. I keep hearing the word subdivision, and I understand that this is dubbed Watson Trace. But a minor plat and a subdivision in my mind as a realtor are two very different things. You're asking to take a what most people would consider a farm property and subdivide it into some larger splits. That to me is a subdivision, because a subdivision is usually, and I know this, you can fact check me. In a subdivision, they will put 4 houses per acre. And that's how they get to 120, 150, 180 in a 40-acre tract. This is a 40-acre tract we're asking to create 6 home sites. And we're going to do this on the west side, which was already approved. We're working through the issues. We're providing as much as we can to meet requirements. And so, you know, there's a little trial and error with what has to happen with water. But I, first of all, and to clarify, might be a Johnson County surveyor, but it's not a Johnson County realtor. I graduated from Mooresville High School in 1984. I own 4 homes in Morgan County, and I still reside in Morgan County. My office happens to be in Trafalgar. It's a hospital over the Morgan County line. So I'm not a Johnson County realtor, coming down here to split up farm ground. My signage is Lady for Land. That is how I market myself. That is my goal, is to keep big, massive conglomerates from mounting our farm ground. This is the way you do it sustainably for all of you that say, I live on this farm, and I live on this farm. Do you have children that you'd like to give a piece of your land to someday? Because my phone rings off the hook with people that say, I want a property that our whole family can enjoy. Farmers, typical of splitting off a piece for this son, for this daughter. This is how it happens. Minor plats, not major subdivisions. So I'm here, I guess, to somewhat defend myself and to defend the homeowners who purchased these lots, who bought them for over $50,000 an acre. These others will be at $56,000 an acre. They're spending $160 for a home site, what used to be the cost of a home. They're going to then incur $300 plus in building it and another $20 in land improvements. They're not bringing in a manufactured home. The fact that we even had to come back and ask for square footage requirements to me was just crazy, because you don't invest that kind of money to bring in junk.
I need to get wrapped up.
And as far as the marketing of mini farm, when you do a minor plat, you can split to 6. We did 3-acre lots on 5 splits at 3 acres each. The 22 acres that's left over is being called a mini farm because anything between 10 and 20 acres in realtors' terms is a mini farm. So I'm not talking about bringing in horses,
cows, chickens, none of that. And it's just way more. One last thing, the 22 acres on the west side of Kitchen Road that was concerned about being split up is now pending. It'll close by the end of the month. And 20 acres out of that 40 that was cut across the street is going to stay agricultural. And that's all I have.
John Walker.
Good evening, John Walker, 5790 East Watson Road. We own the property just west of Kitchen that's opposite this plot. We have 20 acres there. We built a large pole barn right now. That's my mechanic shop. And plans to build a large home next year. We have put a septic system in. We're relatively eased with no real large problems. And I'm not opposed to the way the plot is laid out and divided. And if you compare it to the first plot that was proposed last year, it was just a bunch of shotgun lots. This makes a whole lot more sense. You've got larger lots, you should have nice homes on it. You've got one large lot that could be a nice little family farm for somebody who wants to have that type of environment. I'll leave it up to the county to control the permitting and oversight of the development of the lots to ensure that the waterways are maintained and the proper permits are there to do and will protect all of our property values. I share the concern of all my neighbors of, water flow and, will septics, will lots work, you can get things worked out. I'm gonna leave that to the county to figure that out as things are developed. But as it's laid out here, I have no opposition to it. I'm glad it's got one large lot there and it's not a subdivision going into multiple homes. So I'm not opposed.
Thank you. That's all we have listed. Right. Mr. Wexler, would you like to rebuttal?
We did, we went over it. Going up on the wrong one, but,
Hang on. I missed one.
he missed Andrew.
Andrew
Sorry.
missed all that. I missed that. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for catching it.
Thank you again, you guys have seen a few times, this is your last year, and your last one. I'm here to get some of my points from them. As I mentioned before, I grew up in an agricultural area, Woodwood. I guess many regional say that where we grew up, we couldn't stay in agriculture, like what I experienced here in Morgan County. I do highly believe it's important for our future to encourage people in their position to help maintain that for our environment. That will become more and more important as we get further in the future and there's less land to provide food for our families. So I think that's very important. I think you guys should all consider that. Yes, we can build houses, but I would rather see a family someday. So keep that in mind. There's a few things that I appreciate that they did some restrictions and things on there to try to satisfy some of our feedback last month. I'm still pretty concerned about that 20 acres in the middle, that this might just be a clever trick to be able to break that up in smaller pieces. It was my impression that you could do minor plats one time, you could do that again, but I think you could minor plat that 20 acres again, so you might break it up more. That didn't get answered last month, so that would be my biggest encouragements and everything else. Just echo what everyone else has said. Thank you.
Yeah, good question about the big lot. They have to come back and make this subdivision. They can't split it anymore without making it a big subdivision. So they have sewer, water, all that stuff. All right, Richardson?
Yeah, he was the last time, yeah.
That was my one. Mr. Larson?
Thank you. There were a lot of points, second, very reasonable, a few, awfully, maybe emotional. I understand that. I also understand that hundreds of these types of meetings, I know that nobody wants new addition. One man across the street or a home in their house where they're currently looking at one vehicle or possibly one. And I understand that, but it's not reality. We are growing. I believe that making Mooresville a great place to live for the people who live here is important as well. That's why we encourage responsible development. We listen to the employers' concerns. I think we address all of them. If not all, most, with our covenants and restrictions. I will concentrate just momentarily on the issue of soils. We have predominantly on this property, we have 3 soils. We have diversity clay loam. We have Miami soil loam, Crosby soil loam. I have read extensively and dealt with soils extensively over the years, and I know enough to know that that's Warren County. I will tell you that according to the official soil survey of Warren County, Indiana, those 3 soils make up 38% of all the soils in Warren County. The same soil survey says for each of those soils, they have severe limitations to building sites. Yes, we know that. And over the years, we've developed construction methods to deal with those issues. Footings for homes constructed with basements. We developed systems to back up our septic. Our water injection pumps in basements, some homes. We put battery backup systems in. We use perimeter drainage systems around septic fields to lower the water. We enlarge the septic field area. At times we go back and forth, alternating between one field and another in septic situations. We also have developed systems like the present system to use in areas where we have limited area. It also uses sand in order to mitigate problem soils. These are things that we learned to do because the soils aren't perfect. Again, we've got county residents in Madison Township, which is one of our most populated townships. And the entire township is built on rough soils, lime soils. And crop soils. Some sort of drains are used along the sides of roadways. The county has a problem with draining all over the county because of the soils in Warren County. That doesn't mean we don't go roads, it doesn't mean we don't live in drains in areas that don't have fresh soil. We just don't live there. I will remind you that this property is zoned agricultural. We're 50% above the minimum size for an agricultural lot. It's up to 3 acres in size, the minimum is 2. And we don't need to rezone. you to approve the plat tonight. Thank you very much.
John, what's the water system?
I'm sorry.
The water system, is it, who owns the water? City, is it more than, rural Orange County or?
It's citizens.
It's citizens of Indianapolis?
Yeah, the east.
Each of the morning? All citizens. I didn't know who supplied that. Any questions from Mr. Larson? No?
Thank you.
Let's close with our other portion of the hearing. One vote for discussion.
Yes, I've got a question to ask. I don't know how many people, obviously you're gonna know 2 people spoke, and there's obviously more who have farms. And I think the 2 people that I know are living with family farms. Good chance all the rest of you will be other farms. And, something I probably was down here, all behind me, almost down. Can't worry about it because of the shoulder, but, we all know our piece of heaven, in the subdivision or anything else, but, way, and, it was 16 miles to Indianapolis on a very good 4-wheel road. Seems like an ideal place to build a house. Necessarily, you don't live that close to things, and if you live in subdivision, that could not suit me, but, maybe your neighbor would probably less than suit you, but, for Dan, you and Dan, you know, again, we moved into this community, and I don't know how many you were at your township meeting the other night, but, the quite contentious, that I understand from people who were there. Fire departments, we have no control over it. Water departments, we have no control over it. We're probably driving crazy. And the water over there, it's like a water on the farm, so it's not very sanitary, but I really don't like it. And I know, yes, I'm going to do this the way I want to live. I don't want to live with these people. If I vote against this, I don't know how people who like the Morton County, and, we can't do sewers unless we get density. We've got evidence in sewers. President Brown is April, yes, I see power off the road, washed out. Water leak I got. There's miserable locations you can't get equipment because he's a man to fix it. But you've got your session ahead. And I suspect that anybody else out there that's going to move out of this area, sometime new session again. And nobody ever is happy, but maybe people who live there are happy. That's not some certain part of the war for the deal. When they come off their road, I'll probably go move to approve MIP-24 concrete given. I'm sure somebody will think. Yes.
Mr. Romo moves to approve plan as presented. We have a second. Seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Two. Two. That motion passes.
Senators split, and you got one people can say yes, then you talk about it. You talk.
Excuse me, y'all, we still have a meeting to have. We have other things.
Moving on to new business. Public hearing for petition rezone Z-2401, Ralph Ennis, requesting to rezone 2.7 acres from A to R1. The property is located at 4355 State Road 44 in Newton Township. Who's representing Ms. Davis? Go ahead.
Actually, lived in 377, moved back home to in 2016. The home that I sell is 4355. I just wanted to hear two houses. And I was split off some land to leave to my kids. I want to build everything on the side field, a wildlife study. That I continue to own, so that will remain the same, just separate from the house, so it's,
Move it back for a rezone date. Any questions? No, thank you. It's okay, man. That's all we have. Family that course,
They're pretty straightforward. There are no additional recommendations coming out of the tech reports. Staff recommended in favor of the rezone. I think that's, you can see that changing it to R1 just makes it in line with the other R1s along that area, so it's really not a concern at all. This will allow them to split it in the way that they need to. So, you know, any questions?
any questions? No, thank you. This will close the public portion of our hearing. Any discussion? No discussion, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to move forward a favorable recommendation for all of zoning requests C-24.
Second?
Second.
Everybody second.
Everyone
That. Who wants that? Okay, is that all over that? We have a motion to second to, a favorable recommendation to the commissioners. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Now, you'll have to come, what's it, when the commissioner meeting? That's 6th. May 6th, May 6th, you need to know the commissioners meeting, because they approve the zoning. And we just give them a recommendation. And that's a morning meeting?
Yes.
So it'll be about 9:30 when it starts. Okay. Public hearing for vacating and replat RP 2406 Howard Engineering on behalf of Larry Moore and requesting to vacate lot 24 and lot 23 and replat them with one lot. The property is located at 465 East Levi Lane in Monroe Township, and is known as RR.
Thank you, John Larson, Howard Engineering. My professional board, Mooresville, Indiana. Mary has owned lot 24 in Savannah Acres since 1996. Built a home there on lot 24 at that time. Lot 23 is a lot that is split basically in half, about 49.5 foot wide. Pipeline easement. In 1999, we divided that lot for non-building purposes. Larry bought the northeast side of lot 23, and the owners, lot 22, bought the west part of lot 23. Larry now would like to build an outbuilding, small pole barn, and he's going to plan to build that very close to that lot line, lot 24 and lot 23. So what we'd like to do is vacate lot 24 and that part of lot 23 and vacate a single lot so they can build this outbuilding that he chooses. We would also like to vacate that easement along the east line of lots 23 and 24 as it serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever.
There's no drainage in there at all?
There's not, in fact, that's why I handed out those comments. If you take a look at the house, Larry's house on lot 24 is at about 903. You can see the top, the very top of that hill right behind his house. The entire lot drains easterly toward Levi. I believe that drainage unit was put there simply because we always put drainage units in temporary gardens, just like subdivisions. This one just serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. And further, you can see the hill drains to the west, down to Levi Lane, and off to the east. Wooded corners.
There's no easement on the center line.
I'm sorry,
No easement between the lots.
there is none.
Any other questions for Mr. Larson? Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have.
And this was a vacate and replat in order to combine it into one larger lot. None of the tech reports had any additional recommendations. And you can see the last staff report recommends in favor of making
Any questions? No. Thank you. This closes our public portion of our hearing. We'll open for discussion and or motion.
I'll move that we approve the vacate replat request for petition RP-24-07.
We have a motion to approve the vacate and replat. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I have that as
24 what?
Oh,
Yeah, that's 2406, what did you say, Jason?
It's no second.
Just for clarification. thank you.
All right, for clarification, that's, say, RP 2406. Do we need to vote? No, okay. All right, I didn't catch that, thanks for catching that. All right, we'll move on. We're ready for closed public hearing for vacate replat RP 2407. All engineering on behalf of Richard Pearson. Requesting to vacate lot 1 and replat it. It's 2 lots. 5 acre lot located at 1441 East Java Road in Brown Township, and it's all there.
Thank you, John Harrison, Home Engineering. We are here to vacate replat lot 1, Thompson, Pearsonville, and that. This property is located approximately 1 mile west of Millersville on County Line Road, Joppa Road. Lot 1 existing is 5 acres in size, has an existing home, several outbuildings, farming and outbuildings on it. One of which you can see, we are proposing a new lot line that runs directly through that oldest barn that is scheduled to be demolished. This lot will access Joppa, Henry's County Line Road by way of existing gravel drive that curves along the west side of the property. Within the existing access utility easement. And we have included language and dedication to on lot 1B to share in the expense of maintenance of the roadway with the existing users to the south. Any questions? Yeah.
Any questions from Mr. Morrison? The house in front of the farmhouse, right?
It is, and that's Richard Pearson's house,
Yeah.
and the lot 1B, 2.5 acres, is being created for his daughter, or son-in-law to build.
Questions from Mr. Larson? No, thank you. Mr. Pearson, would you like to speak? How you doing? I didn't see you back there. I knew that you were family fees. Sorry. Yeah.
The only thing that I wanted to point out to you is I know that there's a letter from the highway engineer, or excuse me, the county engineer, talking about the right of way. So when this was originally approved, this was moved forward with capturing that right of way, let's talk about the overlay. So, as we were looking at this one, and the other thing to note is Joppa Road we share with Henry County, so we kind of have one side, they have one side, but really they kind of control because it's that north line. So, in talking over with Justin, we felt it best not to push the right of way to the max, which would put the setback line, in front of the house. We try to want to maintain, let's leave this so that there's a little bit of setback and some part of there, because at some point, if that road are widened, there's going to be they're probably going to take the house, honestly. So that can wait until that time if it ever comes. Depending on where that improvement is in.
Is that around the same standards?
Justin wasn't for sure, so.
I didn't know, I didn't know what they classified that
But it, yeah, it would ultimately be their responsibility in that particular situation. So we wanted to apply some common sense to it and not require the entire right of way. So that's why we wrote a letter and created the entire. Any questions from me on that?
Thank you. Ms. Bowles, we have one more. Is that right? replat indicated RP 2407. Do we have a second? Brian seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on our list is public hearing for minor plat NIP 2404. Ronald and Kimberly Young are requesting a 3-lot minor plat. 26-acre parcel located at 2573 Lincoln Hill Road in Washington Township, is on Park Law.
I currently have 26 acres, and it's from the current 25 Fairview Road, we have 26 acres now, and we're just split up so that, and there is an easement through for one at once, and the other two is right there. Sorry.
There.
The crowd's gone.
So one of them allows with access through an easement that is currently on the property, and the other two have direct access from one another.
You know, one question I had on this, was that back lot, the people in the subdivision to the north, now you can talk close to that.
It is, and they are aware of it. I'm
I
not
was
sure.
aware of it, that's fine. Yeah, my concern, I looked at that, I told area for all that, I'm like, oh, that's good, we drive right next to their house.
It is unsafe, so I don't anticipate any problem, but they are aware of it. My daughter says that they're aware of it, so.
Okay. That was just my question, on something like that, it's back, it's inside of the dad. People may not know that part of the next to their house, so.
They do, and they don't know that, she just wanted, she's not a person.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that. Any questions? No? Thank you. That's small, man, for that, what do you want to take words?
You've addressed your comments on the survey. I don't have any additional questions or responses for you. Unless you have questions for me.
In my comments were, real close to that house, there's no way to use that property. The contours, right now, it's pretty tight through there. And it costs a fortune, that ever being back up, so that's really the access they ever had. And I think that easement goes through the south parcel also, correct?
Yes, and that is actually why that isn't listed.
Before the south parcel. Yeah, I always said going over that south parcel. My concern was just to make sure that everyone was aware of this attack. This will close the public portion of the hearing. We have discussion. If not, I'll call for a motion.
I'll move that we approve MIP 24-04.
Do we have a second? Mr. Hill, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Speed, do you have anything for us?
I'd just like to say that Mr. Moonlaw's exposition on his goals of right side is a man who grows with the desire for preservation, particularly help in discussion on that.
He told me all that way.
He did.
Nothing to add.
You just get out of here now.
Yes, yes, that's that.
See those on vacation.
Yes.
We do have petitions filed. May 13th.
Our next meeting is May 13th, 2024, at 6:30.